What's up, good people? It's your boy C-Dot with From Boys to Gentlemen, and with no further ado, welcome to the From Boys to Gentlemen podcast. What's up, good people? It's your boy C-Dot, and this is another episode of the From Boys to Gentlemen podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the journey. Today is going to be one of our solo episodes, but best believe I'm definitely going to get a panel on this topic because I need to get y'all's perspective. Now, let me put out my disclaimer. Wherever we put it, there are no absolutes. This is my perspective. Not saying that this is law, not saying that this is 100% factual at all times. Your boy is speaking his truth. So I'm going to be as accurate as possible, but understand this is not always going to apply. Just trying to offer you a perspective. So with that being said, let me jump into it. Our topic for today is it socially acceptable to be a nice guy? With no hesitation, I'm going to put my hat in the ring and say, no, it ain't socially acceptable. Now, let me break it down when I say socially acceptable. Is it desired? Is it acquired? Is it something that people choose? I don't care what tags you put out there. You know, you hear women say all the time, I want a nice guy. Ain't no good men. You hear these things, but that's not always the actuality. And oftentimes you see the exact opposite when it comes down to the actual dating experience. So I'll use one of my examples and what I mean by it. Because I had to learn that I had misunderstood some things as I started working with young ladies and kids. And some of these conversations, I appreciate y'all because you broadened my perspective. So I had an experience where, just step back for a second, I ain't had no game. Now, I also didn't have no shame when it came to shooting my shot. So I was going to come to you straight. I didn't have no bells and whistles. I was straight up and down with it. If you liked me, you liked me. If you didn't, you didn't. And that's how I moved with it. So I remember being at a basketball game and I saw this real pretty girl that I hadn't seen before. So I come up to her and right away I say, hey, how you doing? I think you're beautiful. Hadn't seen you around before. Didn't know what you had going on Friday. But we often go to the skating rink. Wanted to know if you come to the skating rink, skate together, chill, whatever the case may be. Her response to me was, oh, you thirsty? This is how slow I am. My response was, oh, no, I just had a Gatorade. I'm good. Too slow to catch it. I get it. But her response after that was, Now I understood, clearly. That means you're not interested. Now, hey, I got to take my L, lick my wounds, walk away. Okay, it is what it is. So as I'm stepping up on the bleachers, I hear a deep voice scream out, hey, B, as in female dog, come here. Now, I'm ready to turn around and see how she's going to berate this man because she called me thirsty and talked to me crazy and looked me up and down for calling her beautiful and asking to take her somewhere. So a dude coming and just calling her a B, I know that she finna give it to him. Wrong. She proceeded to turn around and giggle. She walked over there. Now here I am left with to do this calculation that's been dropped into my lap. Let me write it out real quick. So, okay. Hey, how you doing? I think you beautiful. Equals thirsty. Hey, B, come here. Equals giggle, run over there. This is the equation that I'm left in dealing with. So that leaves me with the understanding that's just one of many cases where the experience was when you the nice guy, you get laughed at. When you the bad boy, you get the girl. We've all heard the adage of girls like bad boys. They go through their bad boy phase, all these different things. I'm going to dig a little deeper into that. And again, this is just a perspective. There's places where it's going to apply, there's places where it don't. But in particular, when you get into girls who like the quote unquote bad boys, a lot of times, not all, you're talking about women who've experienced domestic violence and have seen some type of violence within their community. And one of the Attitudes when it comes to nice is nice equals weak, bad boy equals strength. So one of the hardest realities that I had to come to realize after talking to so many young ladies and talking to women, one of the things I had to realize was a woman is willing to allow a man to beat on her in many cases, as long as he's willing to fight somebody else for her. Now that sounds crazy, but let's drop this down a little bit more. If you're dealing with never feeling protected, if you're dealing with watching yourself or other people that you care about not have that protection, being beat on, being abused, one of your primary needs that elevates up that list is the ability for physical security. And that's a hard reality to swallow, but the reality nonetheless is when you want to feel safe, logic doesn't always come into the picture. Bringing out all these other elements of thinking, oh, he's going to beat on you. You just often respond off your emotional trauma response and fear. So before we get to bashing young ladies and saying, hey, y'all out there picking these bad boys and these guys, or you are creating an environment for them to not. I'm not saying that's inaccurate, but what I am saying, let's give a little bit more consideration and let's start dealing with the issue. Because the element that you have to realize as a nice guy, now I'm going to speak specifically to my nice guys right now. I'm not promoting violence, but you need to be prepared for it. Being willing to fight is 80% of the battle. And I need you to understand, you don't have to go out there telling everybody you're going to whoop. I don't think I've ever been in a fight in my life where I told somebody that I was going to whoop them. My response was always, I'll fight you. And that was one of the things that had to come to the understanding is there has to be some level of power, some level of willingness to become physical in order to protect your family, protect your wife, protect your children, protect yourself. And that's one of the hard components is oftentimes when you think nice guy, you think somebody who won't hop on your head. And I think I need my fellas to understand the importance of being able to offer not just emotional security, not just you being respectful and diligent when it comes to the handling of your lady's emotions and not cheating on her and being romantic. All those things is great, but when push come to shove, when somebody running your house, so you gonna hide behind her, or are you going to be the one to step up? Are you going to be the one to match that aggression with the necessary aggression to protect your household? And that's not a conversation that we have oftentimes. We need to be able to defend ourselves, but match that physicality with some emotional intelligence, with kindness. One of the most dangerous people that you can deal with on this planet are kind. They're super kind. But once you exhaust that kindness, you left to deal with the monster that's behind that. There's a lot of monsters who are simply kind. Having that capability or willingness to fight doesn't make you a bad person. And that's a lesson that I didn't learn until late in my life. But it's not about whether you fight. Oftentimes it's why you're fighting. And it's a very important task for us to understand the bad boy image is often misconstrued as the only one that is able to protect. So that's just one of the caveats. We're going to pause right there because like I said, I want to dive deeper into this topic on a panel. Let's really get some people's perspective. But as always, the absence of a father doesn't equal the absence of responsibility. Someone or something is going to take that place. Where from boys to gentlemen, we are looking and seeking to fill that void. We love y'all.